Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Florida Man Football.
Yeah. Let's go.
Now, guys, we're coming to an end soon. It's the Final Four right now in the NFL. Some great games that we just had there, so we want to talk about it a little bit. And, of course, talk about our predictions, who we see winning the conference championships and ultimately winning the Super Bowl. We know it ain't the Bills, Chris.
You know,
but
are you saying that the NFL season is coming to an end?
I am saying just that.
Damn.
So it's flown by. We knew it would. We enjoyed it somewhat. We have some gripes, so maybe we'll talk about the season and this episode, excuse me. So we'll see. But Chris, I mean, let's first talk is Florida Man sports, Florida Man football specifically. We have to start right now. We'll get to everything else here. Miami just signed a new coach. Something with so many big names, you know, we know what just happened here, Chris. We had some crazy things happening to where the Bills let go of their coach, where Bears, like, a lot of people weren't expecting that. We'll get to that. But the biggest, story in Florida sports right now is that the Miami Dolphins, they go ahead and they sign the defensive coordinator for the Packers and the GM from the Packers. So with that move being done, do you like that move? Is it something to where you're expecting something different? What do you think about this?
Florida Man Football, streaming on all major platforms. Do like, share, subscribe, and folks, we're going to apologize for last week's to-go episode, but the boys are back, so let's get this thing rocking and rolling. Johnny Cinco.
It was fun.
Before we get ourselves started, I do want to bring up our sponsor for this and all episodes going forward is Happy Dad. Yes, we have a sponsor now, so here's to Happy Dad's multiple flavors. And by the way, Happy Dad, I got your first real strong commercial.
Mm-hmm.
You grab a Happy Dad beer from the fridge and you hand it to your wife, and then it says, when the wife drinks it, you get a happy dad. Oh, that just happened.
Oh, wow.
Let's go.
Mind's blown.
Talking about Jeff Hathley here. He is now the head coach of our Miami Dolphins. And, that's exactly what you can expect from the Miami Dolphins, Johnny Cinco. You ready?
Yeah, okay.
You hear about a coach who gets beat because the Packers just got beat in the playoffs.
Yes.
By playing terrible defense, by the way. And then you hire like you alluded to, the GM, and now he goes and brings his buddy, the defensive coordinator, and makes him the head coach. So no, I hate the move. This is not like last year with the Jacksonville Jaguars and with Cohen, where there's a lot of hype and this guy actually won a whole bunch of games for the Bucs. This isn't it. So the resume: Ohio State, Boston College,
losing record with Boston College,
San Francisco 49ers. He had a bunch of little positional roles here and there. So if I had to grade this with all the coaches that are available, this to me is a C-, and that's just me being polite and keeping hope alive for the Miami Dolphins.
I give it a D. I mean, at the end of the day, this doesn't make any sense. I mean, there's some names out there. There's so many different things. I would have even taken, Robert Saleh, who obviously just got hired or is about to, if he hasn't yet, with Tennessee Titans. Someone who has he's didn't have the greatest track record with the Jets, but they're the Jets.
Right.
So we am blaming you there. And still, they fired him prematurely, and you saw what happened with them. It's a mess.
I agree.
But this guy, you hire him. I mean, and you get the GM. The GM gives him not a standard, you never coached before, 3-year deal. He gets a 5-year deal with the Dolphins. Like, you get a 5-year deal with them? Like, I do not understand this. The Packers, last time I checked, didn't have an amazing defense at the end of the season.
No, they lost because of the defense. That's what I was saying, yeah.
They had a great defense for about the first 4 weeks of the season, and we're like, when it came down to the full season, it was a mediocre defense, and they had the pieces.
And I just want to add here, the biggest thing and the reason why we're kind of bothered and whatnot is that there are like 8 or 9 coaching, opportunities available. There was a lot of coaches there that we want to see. With Saleh, what I love about him, Johnny, there's a handful of coaches that I want to see them get a second try as a head coach, and I feel like they're going to be better for it. McCarthy is one of those people, whether you like him or not. Gruden is one of those. I know, a year out. So yes, there are a lot of other opportunities, I thought. Now let's give them this. In his press conference that he did, what did he say? He gave a lot of ups to Waddle. He gave a lot of ups to Chaney. He gave a lot of ups to different players. Guess who he didn't give ups to? To Tua. So at least we know for sure right now, even though the Super Bowl isn't here yet, the offseason hasn't started, Johnny, we do know that Tua's time in Miami as the starting quarterback is done.
Yes, and Miami football, since we're on it right now, looks like McDaniels is getting hired as the offensive coordinator for the Chargers.
Yes.
So I think that's a good move for them. Obviously, they lost badly against the Patriots, in the first round here. Their offense just was stale, wasn't moving, wasn't doing anything else here. Harbaugh's a defensive coach, so that's a good move for McDaniels. Hopefully he gets gets back on track, because the guy it's a decent coach.
One of the things with the Chargers that we said all season was they're kind of up and down. We expected more out of them, and seeing him being, like, he is the guru of offense. He has success. He reminds me of the Patriots offensive coach, McDaniels, right? He reminds me of him, where as an offensive coach, he has success. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the Chargers, honestly.
Yeah, listen, they're a good team.
And I wish the Bucs would have gotten him. It's a missed opportunity. Now we're still scratching our heads. So
listen, there's a lot of good. A lot, but there's a handful. So 2 or 3 good offensive coordinators available is a lot. And I'm surprised that somehow the Bucs didn't throw their hat in the ring and really make a move. But we still have Kingsbury available. We still have other offensive coordinators that are available. That the Bucs got to make a move, do something on that. We'll see what ends up happening. But we're talking about what the Dolphins went ahead and did, and they picked up a new coach.
Right.
Who they did not pick up was McDermott. Now, McDermott, crazy game, Chris. Let's talk a little bit about this Bills game before we get on to McDermott. At the end of the day, why he ended up getting fired after this game. Now, that Bills game, Chris, Josh Allen picked a bad time to have the worst game of his career. And you can say whatever you want. You watch the game, and as you're asking me, this loss 100% on Josh Allen. So that happened. This was a depleted Bills team. They fought. They still could have almost won this game. But looking at this game, Chris, I don't know any takeaways you want to talk about this game. Go ahead. And I want to hear your thoughts on the firing of McDermott. Is it justified? What's going on with the Bills? Who are they looking for next? What do you got?
Yeah, well, let's go back to the game first, right? So I'm tired of us. We've already had our rants back and forth for all these episodes, all these seasons, Johnny, where we talk about, the refs and the terrible calls. And at this point, I'm trying to leave it here. We're all human beings. At the end of the day, if we're watching football, we can't be complaining about all these calls. Calls are going to go your way sometimes they're not. It is what it is. You can't blame it on the calls. You're right. It falls squarely on his head. So you're 100% correct. Okay. As far as now moving on to the coach, do I think he deserved to be fired? No, absolutely not. 9 seasons, 8 playoff appearances, 106-58 record. I can name about 10 teams right now that would love to have that kind of a record. It breaks my heart when you really think about it. The Bucs don't even have that record, for crying out loud. So no, it's not 5 AFC East titles. No, it's not justified. However, we see this all the time, right? At the end of the day,
today's NFL.
And at the end of the day, who are you going to choose? The Pro Bowl, MVP, or the coach? And something has to give. The sad part about it is, unfortunately, this kind of reminds me a little bit of Dungy, right? Where, like, you have a coach that he can win a Super Bowl. I feel like he will eventually win a Super Bowl. It's just not going to be with the Bills. And that's the sad part.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit, off air. And at the end of the day, I feel it's the right move. It doesn't mean that McDermott is a bad coach. He's not. It's the opposite. Prime example you just gave with Dungy, Chris. Dungy is a great coach, one of my favorite coaches. And now a lot of people are angry at the fact that at the time, I can't believe we let this guy go. It was the right move because they brought in Gruden. And I firmly believe that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would not have won that first Super Bowl without John Gruden at the helm. Doesn't mean that Dungy's a bad coach. It's not. It's just that a team is going to listen to your narrative, whatever your scheme is, whatever it is, to a point.
Right time, yeah.
At some point, you better have some chips to back up what you're saying. Otherwise, it's falling on deaf ears. Right. And that's what happened with McDermott. McDermott, you had all the opportunities in the world. This year, respect to you, a depleted team. You got so far with no offensive line. Secondary is a mess. Basically, Cook, Allen, those are the guys who are carrying this team. And you could have won that game if Josh Allen has an average game. He just chose to have a horrendous career, horrible. And I just feel so bad for the Buffalo fans, Chris. They lose in such traumatic ways. They are honestly just the franchise in the U.S. where I'm looking at this towards this. They don't just lose. They lose spectacularly.
Well, there's a lot to digest there. The first thing is this, Bill fans and Bills Mafia specifically. Listen, at the end of the day, it could always be worse. You could always be the Cleveland Browns. I'm not trying to dog on the Browns. I'm just saying it could always be worse at the end of the day. But no, man, as far as the Bills and for Bills Mafia again here's what I will say, Johnny. They're going to be okay. The next coach that comes in, they were kind of tiptoeing because of cap space this year. The cap is going to free up a little bit next year and the following year. So Josh Allen is going to get hopefully a good coach here, and I want to talk a little bit more about that, but also they're going to have cap space to make some moves, because you're right. This year they were kind of like basically just a two-man show, in my opinion. But talking about that, when the position came open, the biggest thing I thought about is, oh my God, if I'm Harbaugh, because he just signed with the Giants, I'm like, I would have been all over that.
I'm sure he's a little pissed.
I would have been all over that. I guess a two-part question for you here, Johnny, is one, what do you think about the Giants and Harbaugh? And then, do you already have a name that you want to throw out there for the Bills?
Well, right now, Harbaugh's a little hurt that he picked the fake New York team. I guarantee you, I don't care what he says about Jackson Dart, everything else here.
Prestigious franchise.
If he had just waited a couple of days and that would have been available, I think he 100% would have taken that job. So right now, for me, the main guy there's only two people I'm thinking of when it's thinking about the Buffalo Bills. The first is, I think the obvious one is McCarthy. He's a Super Bowl winning coach. He's done there. He knows what to do. As much as I can't stand the Cowboys, he led them to great records and he gave them a shot. Yeah. But the Cowboys are the Cowboys and they don't know how to win the playoffs. Not McCarthy's fault.
I like that.
So now I think that was right there. The second, if you want to go for the Hail Mary and really see what's up, is
oh my God.
No, not him. Oh. Indiana's coach. Oh, Indiana's coach. Listen,
you're always looking to plug in. Listen, I don't want to say his name.
I'll say, listen, Belichick isn't a real consideration. It's not. I think from him going back to the AFC East just to stick it to the Patriots is something like yes. But I told you, I know Bill. We're boys. And that is a stubborn old fool. And that dude is going to stick it out with UNC because he's convinced himself that he can actually do it. No, the coach in Indiana showed you how it gets done. And in 1 year, he took the most losingest program in the history of college football and turned it to 10-2. Yeah, that's a good word. 10-2. And the next year wins a national championship, first ever 16-0 team. So that's what, honestly, most people in North Carolina expected about half of that, even close to that.
Right.
And he failed spectacularly. It's 1 year. I understand that. But I don't see Bill really changing things around. Bill has his personal life involved in coaching. It's been such a mess. It's more drama. It's more of a soap opera. So, no, not Belichick. It's go on the other guys. Go for the proven Super Bowl winning coach that's available, or go ahead and go for the Hail Mary. Give that guy an option. He's won everywhere he's been, whether it's James Madison, whether it was the lower Indiana school, now in Indiana. Throw him a flyer. See what happens. See if he wants to go ahead and coach the former MVP and see what happens with it. But those two, I think, for me, are the best options for the Bills.
I think, of course, it is a Hail Mary, but I think it has to be a little bit more realistic, Johnny. If the coach was going to go anywhere, it's going to be where Fernando goes. And that's I always want to say Oakland Raiders. That's the Vegas Raiders.
Okay.
So I honestly, I feel like that's more of a possibility, right? Because why, if you were him, I'm not leaving my Indiana for nothing, right? But if my QB is going there, maybe, right? And the money is right, maybe. So I see that, more than anything. I don't know. That's my thoughts.
Well, I get what you're saying here, but there's no guarantee. I alluded to the possibility of the Raiders trading that pick.
No, brother. No. Katie was at the game. Are you kidding me?
I understand that. I don't.
Davis was at the game. Are you kidding me?
I don't see him doing it. Okay. But what I'm telling you, there's a possibility. What was the only way it can happen? And it's something to where they had to actually think. There's really, I know you had sent me some stuff and we talked about some things there to where the Ravens, you had mentioned you can talk about that in a little bit. But for me, it's simple. How the heck do you not, as a Miami Dolphins, do you not just say, Ricky Williams, take all of my draft picks, get this Cuban-American quarterback from Miami, represent the Dolphins, give up all your picks.
I know.
That's really the best thing to do. But the Raiders have to listen to a team saying, take all of my picks for Mendoza.
That would be more realistic with a quarterback like Jackson, not with a quarterback like Tua, and then to the Ricky Williams. But again, that's just all hypothetical, all.
Well, I think with Jackson,
all dreaming. We're dreaming.
I think with Jackson, it's not going to be that. It's like, I'm going to give you Jackson and my pick, and for that number one overall pick, you don't have to give up everything.
Well, no, you. If I were the Raiders, I'd be like, no, I need about a 4th rounder and a 7th rounder.
If I'm the Raiders, I'm going to ask for 3 first-round picks, Jackson, for that pick, and see what's going to happen. See, you get a couple first, get the 4th rounder, get a couple, and see what happens with it. But it's all speculation. But that's what we do. We speculate.
Hardman Football. We are streaming on all major platforms. Always want to remind you that we are on YouTube or wherever you like to listen to. Also, want to throw out there, Johnny Cinco, our sponsor, Happy Dad. Seltzer, Happy Dad Seltzer. My producers told me I messed up on the seltzer part. And right now I'm drinking lemon lime, which is absolutely refreshing.
Okay, nice.
We're kind of jumping around with the coaching hires, with the games that happened and everything else, Johnny, but we also have to talk about the hires. That's why we're here right now, Florida football. And now you've got the Falcons where Bill Callahan gets fired by the Browns. after everything that happened with Sanders drafting 2 quarterbacks, all that fiasco.
Stefanski.
And
Stefanski.
Hmm?
The Browns,
I'm sorry, they hired Bill Kine as their offensive coach,
Mhm.
but Stefanski now becomes becomes the Falcons head coach. Initial reaction and thoughts on that?
You took a guy from the worst franchise in NFL. And yes, you can sit here and say like, oh, the success he had or anything else. That dude had a definite input, if not the main input, on moving from Baker Mayfield. So you have a quarterback that changed that franchise.
Right.
And hey, thank you. It helped out obviously the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but still, you have him do this, and you saw what's going on, the mess with Sanders, and his guy was Gabriel. He wanted to stick with him.
Yeah.
That was this guy makes wrong decisions, big wrong decision. You can make nobody's perfect. You're gonna make a decision here and there. You're gonna be wrong a couple of things. You can't miss on your quarterback, and he's missed a couple of times. Not that Sanders is the man, but Sanders was clearly their best quarterback on the roster. And for whatever reason, he refused to. He fought everybody. Maybe the Browns would have had more wins. Maybe you'll still have a job with the Browns if you had went to Sanders earlier. Maybe. I'm speculating, but that Baker miss is something that can't be overlooked. Okay, because you did a mediocre job with the Browns. If this was another team, nobody would look at you because the Browns are so bad. You kind of had some success. So now it's like, well, man, he made the Browns a 500 team. Like he made the playoffs a couple of years with the Browns. Oh my God. Okay. You didn't get deep. You didn't get into the AFC Championship. You didn't do anything there. So Stefanski going to the Falcons is the same old thing. It's the same thing for them hiring Morris over Belichick. It's the same old moves that they've done over and over again, which are the wrong moves. So an organization that makes the wrong moves hired a coach that makes the wrong moves. No surprise.
I couldn't say it better myself, but I just want to add this. I mean, I think you'll agree with me, Johnny. There's a lot of coaches that when they get hired, you're like, this guy's a great defensive mind and should stick to being the defensive coach.
Uh-huh.
And bro, when we're right. You get the head coaching position, you don't do so good. Then you get back to being a defensive coach, and guess what? You have success. I don't need to name names here because we know that's the way that it's been. And I just feel like this guy is a great offensive coach.
Yeah.
He's not a head coach. And my biggest disappointment, listen, I'm a Buck fan, so I don't care about the NFC South making a bad move, right?
Yeah.
But I just find it that Ryan is now the the president of operations there, right? Matt Ryan. And, just like within a week and a half, you already decide on the coach. Like, I just feel like, where's your due diligence? Where's your time of, did you really interview McCarthy? Did you really open up Pandora's box to see what your options were? If you look at the last 2 seasons alone, Johnny, and I'm not complaining, like I said, I'm an NFC South. But if you look at the last 2 seasons, Raheem Morris's record is better than his. Like what? You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't make sense, folks. It doesn't make sense.
The thing is, it shows you on hiring the wrong people. I'm not knocking, Matt Ryan, really good quarterback, great quarterback, will be in the Hall of Fame. But you hire this guy, and if he had just waited a couple days, he would have had a real opportunity at McDermott, who's really the best name available right now. Harbaugh's off the books. He's there. Just wait a little bit. I think, McDermott with the Falcons would have been on paper. The Falcons are good on paper. That team is good. Find the right coach, and you have somebody like that can really work with whether it's Penix, you're going to keep Cousins or whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't believe in Penix. I think that was a joke. It was a joke pick. They should never pick them. They're fools, but they're the Falcons. But under Cousins with McDermott with that team, it was scary good. I'm glad it didn't happen because obviously we want the Bucks to succeed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining, man.
Complete fools
and
here.
There's a couple of little points to talk about before we get into this week's AFC NFC Championship games, Johnny, because I do want to talk a little bit about what's going on as far as the games that were and whatnot. But there is one more coaching hire to talk about. The Titans, of course, they got their man Robert Saleh.
Yeah, Robert Saleh.
He's a new head coach now for the Titans. Quick reaction on that.
I like the hire. I like Robert Saleh. I liked him always when he was defensive coordinator for the Niners the first time around, and I think it was a good pickup by the Jets. But the Jets ownership is terrible. That team is terrible, and they should have just been a little more patient with that guy, and maybe things would have turned around. But the Jets all of a sudden think that this guy, they need an immediate turnaround. This team, the owner talked about the best team he's ever had on paper. How Rodgers tore his Achilles. So many interesting things happening. And you were 4 games into the season, you fire him. Stupidity at its finest. And we saw what happened to the Jets. You should have ran it out and see what happens. But I'm glad it didn't. So I'm happy with that pick. Happy with that move. Titans have a good roster. You mentioned last week and talked about how the Tennessee Titans have so much cap space, so much money to play with. I am just not a fan of Cam Ward. I do not believe that is a franchise quarterback. The sooner the Tennessee Titans realize that's not their guy, the better. But they're not going to. I think they're going to stick with him. And ultimately, Robert Saleh needs to go ahead and recognize that the sooner he realizes that, the sooner the Tennessee Titans can go back to winning. But if they stick with Cam Ward, it's going to be a disaster. Mark my words.
The nice thing about it is because you saw what Caleb Williams year 1 versus year 2 was, and he had a really great step forward. And I think Cam Ward has an opportunity to do that. I'm not saying that he will. I'm saying he has an opportunity. But here's the best part for the coach. You didn't draft him. You didn't pick him. So, if it works out in the next couple of years, great. If it doesn't, you're still going to keep your job. That's what I think about the Titans. I think they have I think that he is going to have a lot longer leash than the previous coach.
Agreed.
Let's talk. Good.
No, I'm saying you brought up Caleb Williams here, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit about that particular game. Crazy, great game. The Bears, the Rams. Listen, we both picked the Bears for good reason. That was insane. You guys saw the game, you saw the highlights, you saw everything that happened there. When it was all said and done, amazing comeback, that amazing fourth quarter that the Bears always find a way to do. Ended up being for naught because they ultimately lost that game. Yeah. A couple of things I didn't want to discuss about that, but Chris, you tell me your thoughts on that game. Are you happy with it? Do you see any holes in the Rams moving to the next round? I mean, what's your takeaway from this particular game?
Well, one, a big step forward for the Bears, and if you're a Bears fan, you have to be excited for the future. Barring injuries and all that, the money was spent in the right places, and Caleb Williams is the future for the Bears. So I see nothing but great stuff. And kudos to the NFL for not having just 1 but 2 games that go into overtime in the playoffs. Yeah. Everybody loves that.
Yes.
And ultimately, folks, yes, we did pick the Bears because it just felt like it was a team, Johnny, that was a team in destiny in the playoffs.
They had their chances.
And yeah, they had their chances. They did. A crazy, just very Jameis Winston-like type of, going back 10, 15 yards and throwing that bomb for a touchdown at the end there. Insane. With that being said, though, Johnny, you're talking about the MVP in Stafford, hopefully MVP hopeful, I should say. And they did, like you always have to say, they did what they needed to do. We've been saying from the beginning that the Rams are a Super Bowl contending team. And so I'm actually happy with the outcome because ultimately, even though we picked the Bears, Johnny, the Rams are the better team. Let's be real. They are the better team. They have the better quarterback. They have the better coach. And they have the better team, the more seasoned team. Yeah, they do. They do. And so with that being said, you asked me, so I'm telling you, I'm happy that the Rams advanced because now you're going to get it, and I don't want to get too ahead here, but you're going to get a Rams and Seahawks NFC championship game. And to me, that's going to be better quality of football. So I'm excited about that.
I get it, but I'm sorry. The Bears are more entertaining. I'm not a Bears fan. The Bears are more entertaining to watch. Just watching that, I think non-Bears fans, for the most part, there's exceptions.
It's because they paint their fingernails and you like that stuff. Yeah, I get it.
It's just more exciting to watch. People wanted to see that in the NFC Championship. I had hope. I initially thought it was going to be the Patriots and the Bears in the finals and the Super Bowl. It was going to be a repeat of the 85. It seems it's going to be another repeat of another Super Bowl, but we'll see. At the end of the day, I put this, and of course, hindsight is 2020.
Right.
It's easy for us to go ahead and be like playing Monday morning quarterback. That's exactly what I'm going to do. As far as on Ben Johnson, I mean, listen, the guy has coached all season, even in the game, going for it on fourth down. He don't give a damn. Very much like you see where Dan Campbell gets it from. Just, I don't give a damn. I'm going for it. How do you not go for the 2-point conversion at regulation? Like, you've done that all season, and I'm not for that. For me,
your Monday morning quarterback. It's the playoffs.
That's what I'm doing right now. Listen. Scared money don't make money. So you're gonna go all year going for it, going 2-point conversions, going for it on fourth down, all year doing it. Even in that game, doing it. And then when it comes down to it, your season on the line, and you saw that in the national championship game between Miami and Indiana, to where Indiana's up, and they're right there in the red zone. Kick a field goal. This will be okay. You're up already. No, they go for it on fourth down. They don't give a damn. They're going for it. Ends up this crazy touchdown by Mendoza. You guys saw the game. And ultimately, the cojones they had is what won them the game. So, Ben Johnson, you've shown your cojones all season. You didn't, even in that game. And then when it came down to it, let's go ahead and say, forget it. Put him on the line, lay him out there. Now I'm going to conservative. I'm going to kick this extra point and go to overtime like that. And you went away from what you've preached and done all season, what your team is known for, what you're known for, and it cost you. So if your identity is to be a wild man, just Wild West gunslinger, then you stick with it. There's no point in being that conservative guy when it really matters, and you saw the end result.
Florida Man Football, always going to remind you that we're streaming on all platforms, brought to you by Happy Dad Seltzer. And Johnny,
one more game,
Chris. As always, I can always count on you to get one of those vintage Johnny Cinco rants where you alluded to this in the beginning of your whole rant, which is Monday morning quarterback. Anybody can say that. In the playoffs,
Nobody
you do that.
Says it as
in
nice
the playoffs, you do that, and you don't get it. Then what happens? You get the, oh well, why would you do that in the playoffs? You get the now asking questions. Stop it, and then it's the reverse effect. Why do you just do this and go into overtime and trust your team? Stop it. It is what it is. Bottom line is, Bear fans, be excited for the future as you should, and the better team won, which is the bottom line.
I don't know, man. We picked the Bears because we thought they on that Sunday they were going to be the better team.
Speaking of the better team winning, Johnny Cinco, the Seahawks beat the Patriots.
God.
The Seahawks.
I forgot about that game because that game was over after the first quarter.
The living snot out of the 49ers, and we picked the Seahawks to win. There was no question about that. Man, what a beat down of a team who finally showed us who they are. What are your thoughts briefly on this game so that we can go on to there too?
Well, I mean, what did I say last week? I said that the Niners did not score a touchdown in the last week of the regular season, and they were not going to score a touchdown in this game here. So it's not a surprise to me. But I mean, the beatdown they gave them, 41-6, again, not allowing a touchdown. It really shows. I mean, we know. Listen, they were coming in limping. The Niners were, and they overachieved. When they came against a really good team, a real contender, they showed who they are, which I said, pun intended, fool's gold. And that's what the Niners are. It's not a surprise. Shouldn't be a surprise to anyone here. That was easy money, but that's the game that we expected. I'm not really concerned about that game. Neither are you. There's not really much to talk about in that game.
There isn't, but there is. You ready?
Okay, go for it.
You ready?
Go for it. Yeah.
Got hurt, Johnny. The previous week, Kittle tore his Achilles.
So Kittle would have gotten 31 points.
That is my point. It doesn't matter. You can't put an excuse on injuries or anything. Yeah. The Niners are fortunate to be in the playoffs. I'm happy that, if you're a Niners fan, I should say, that your team made the playoffs, but it finally happened. They are who we thought they were. You understand? Yep. And so at the end of the day, it's one of those teams that maybe didn't deserve to be in the playoffs to begin with.
That is correct.
Just saying.
It's so crazy because they had a chance to be the number one seed. They just needed to beat Seattle. But they had such an easy schedule outside of Seattle where they played in the season. And I said, they kept getting dominated by Seattle. That's not a real team. And, of course, we've talked about teams having easy schedules, this and that. But teams like we're about to talk about with, like, the Patriots, we're talking about schedules, like, you can knock teams like that because, they're playing teams who are traditionally not right now not playing great, but they're beating them. They're not losing to good teams like the Niners were. The Niners were losing to good teams and beating bad teams and got in there, and they showed who they were, which are pretenders.
I wasn't trying to beat a man when they were down, by the way, Lewis. I apologize for that. But I guess since we have to talk about beating someone while they're down, the Patriots did win, Johnny Cinco. They beat the Texans 16-28. It was a close game. Then the weather around halftime, and then the weather implications kicked in, and I know
the home field advantage.
I don't want to vintage Johnny rant here. I want a good analysis on this game of what happened in your opinion, other than the fact that CJ Stroud is cheeks.
Well, I mean, CJ
cheeks.
Well,
big time cheeks.
It is. I mean, and Beck showed his CJ Stroud impersonation in the national championship. So we saw when it comes down to it, what happens here. But CJ Stroud, yes, you can sit here and say that the defense is just that good for the Patriots. Now, the Patriots made a couple little mistakes, but not really. It's weather-wise. They made some mistakes, but the Patriots always find a way to make the other team lose the game. And people get so angry, like, they blew it. I'm like, no, the Patriots scheme, their offensive line, their defensive line is elite. They have a good secondary, not great, but good. But the pressure they put on the quarterback is elite. And that's something that's going to carry over to the next game here in the conference championships and hopefully further and beyond here. But that particular game, it just showed it really put a stamp on it. And all the Patriot haters were sitting here saying, like, easy. Everyone picks them to lose every week, and they win. And is this the best Patriot team we've had? And we're thinking about all the great – no. But right now, on the field, looking at it, if Drake May plays the way he's been playing.
Oh my God.
This is the best team on the field right now.
I asked for real analysis, and of course I can always count on my counterparts and not give me real analysis because at the end of the day, what happens is he lives in La La Land. So let me give you the truth of the matter. The fact of the matter is this: one other quarterbacks could have beat the Patriots. 31. Well, Drake May's in there. So 30 quarterbacks could have beaten.
You've been saying 30 this quarterbacks all season.
I could have beaten with the Texans. I could have beaten the Patriots. But CJ Stroud is cheeks. And, he's dribbling a basketball before. And that's his way of soothing and whatnot. Dribbling a basketball.
It's not going to help you in the snow.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. I don't blame CJ Stroud. You know who I blame, right? I blame the coach. You're doing that? Bro, maybe if you need therapy, go see a therapist, right?
Okay.
Yeah, right. Tristan Wirfs, the left tackle for the Bucks, he sees and he talks about it. He sees a therapist every single time, every single week he does, and he sees a therapist because he feels like he needs it. He's a great guy, has himself a college degree and everything, well educated, and he does what he needs to do. Sorry, I got my producers here taking care of business. And so, thanks so much. And want to remind one last time that Happy Day Seltzer continues to bless FM Sports, FM Football. So, but at any rate, the reason why you're dribbling the ball, CJ Stroud and all that, and then you can't perform. So going forward, my thing is, Johnny, with the Texans, number one, is he really the answer? He's going to be done with his rookie contract. Is he the answer for a max type of deal? Because that's what's going to happen next.
If Trevor Lawrence, before this season, warranted a ridiculous $280 million contract or whatever it was, then yes, I get it. You're looking at it, but they gave him the money. How can you sit here and think that the Houston Texans are not going to go ahead and pay CJ Stroud the money for it? So while we're always expecting elite and wanting elite, this quarterback is getting you to the playoffs, is giving you a shot. But what we've seen here, much like Tua, which I already knew, the dude can't play in the cold. And when I saw the temperature, I saw what was happening, I'm like, this is a no-brainer. Patriots are beating the Texans. It's just not going to happen. That's why you have the home field advantage. I talked to you about this. I said in December and January, you don't win in Foxborough. Sorry, visiting teams, you do not win in Foxborough.
Okay, so that was for the Texans. And for the Patriots, be thankful that the weather kicked in at the right time and you got lucky. Let's move on, Johnny Cinco, because we've already talked about the Bills and the Broncos. The only other takeaway, and this is, I know I give you a hard time with the Patriots, but here are my only takeaways for last week that are a concern.
Mm-hmm.
We know Bo Nix is out now, so now you're going to get the Broncos that are without Bo Nix.
Okay.
And then J.K. Dobbins is out as well. I don't know if you know that or not, but the running back is out as well. So now the Patriots are going to get a walk in the park with the Broncos minus a quarterback, minus a running back.
It's not a walk in the park. They're playing in Denver.
And then the Seahawks, Johnny, are not going to be out with Charbonnet. He's out.
I know, out for the rest of the playoffs.
Out for the rest of the playoffs. And so it's going to get very interesting as we move into this conference championship. But any other thoughts before you go ahead and give me the next week's games?
We'll go over the final four here, but it's a big blow for the Seahawks. I mean, that 1-2 punch was the best 1-2 punch in football in Walker and Charbonnet. Charbonnet's out, so it's interesting to see what's going to happen there. The Rams are no joke. Should be interesting there. We'll get to our picks on that. That is the biggest, wow. Bo Nix being out, it's crippling for the Denver Broncos. It's crippling for any franchise that loses their starting quarterback and you lose them going into the conference championship. Everyone is going to look at this and be like, okay, the Broncos, you're nothing to lose because nobody expects you to win. I don't care the number one seed. Everyone expects you to lose because your starting quarterback is gone. Simon, whatever, he hasn't thrown a football since week 8 or the last week 17 of the 2023 season when they made Russell Wilson like not play because they didn't want to pay him. And they brought him into play. Now, Sean Payton supposedly trusts this guy. He knows his system. He's going to do some things. You can know the system all you want. This is a stellar Patriots defense. I know it's going to be cold. I didn't see the weather, Chris, if it's going to snow or not.
Hey. Florida Man Football, have a little class here.
Okay.
Go ahead and move to the next week's games and ask me the game. You're already trying to jump because you're such
I haven't got there yet. I'm saying
talking
I don't
about
know.
Stidman already. We haven't gotten there yet.
But we talk about the injuries, what's going to happen there. It's insane here. So still, there's so many different question marks. At the end of the day, you got to tip your cap to the Final Four, Chris. The Final Four up here. So sure. So you're looking at, of course, let's go ahead and start it up here with, let's start with since we're talking about the AFC Championship. Right now we have the Broncos who are with their backup quarterback and facing these elite Patriot team. Now, we've seen this before, Chris. I'm old enough to remember Jeff
You're old.
Jeff Hostetler winning the Super Bowl for the Jersey Giants when Phil Simms, Hall of Fame Sims, goes down. Yes. We've seen these type of things happen before with the Redskins. It's happened. Is there a chance it's going to happen again, Chris? Who has won this game between the Patriots and Broncos in Denver?
Johnny Cinco, as I sit here drinking my Happy Dad seltzer, pineapple flavor, by the way, that is freaking delicious. Yeah. I kind of contemplate on everything because I am also, much younger than you, but I'm also a little older in that I know my football history.
Oh,
and when you look at this game, the first thing I want to say before I tell you who's going to win, I want to just go back a little bit. If I would have told you in the beginning of the season that it was going to be a Broncos Patriots AFC championship type of game, you wouldn't have believed it. Don't tell me that you would have believed first year coach. Don't tell me that. You playoffs, yes. Yeah, I know you said that, but not AFC championship. And not Denver either with Bo Nix. So the fact that they're both here is it's a huge I don't know what the sports book says, but it's a huge thing because at the end of the day, I would have expected the Bills, I would have expected even the Bengals at this point, but I digress. Here we are. Who's going to win this game? You ready?
I'm waiting.
I had to get a Johnny rant going.
Okay, nice.
Jarrett Stidham was 23 for 34 with 365 yards and 3 touchdowns when he got his first career start as a Patriot. And I predict that he's going to have a very, very similar line. I also predict that the Broncos and Sean Payton, they're going to run the ball. They're going to show 2 running back, fullback type of packages for him to make it easy for those little dump throws that they're going to get 15, 20 yards. And the Broncos are at home. So I'm not going to have to worry about this at all, folks, because the Denver Broncos are going to the Super Bowl. Lock it in. Happy Dad said so. Broncos win.
That right there is really what Patriot fans have dealt with. Like, it's our entire fanhood. Just the hate that follows us. So you're no matter what, Chris has only picked against the Patriots when they played the Raiders or the Jets.
Stop crying,
That's the
bro.
only time he
picked
the Patriots to win, I should say. Chris, I don't know how the heck. This shows you truly how the Patriot hate is real. You're looking at a team that is really, they're defeated before the game even begins.
Because of injuries.
Their starting quarterback is gone. Their starting running back is gone. So, yes, they still have a chance because any team has a chance any given Sunday. You know how it goes. I saw the movie. You saw it. You know how it works. But for you to pick against the Patriots really just shows the Patriot hate that you and other, football fans have because they're so angry. They accept the success they had over 20 years. They had a little bit of a gap rebuilding, and now they're back. And so just looking at the stats, looking at the team, looking at everything you need to look at, the only advantage the Denver Broncos have right now is that they're playing at home. They're playing at home, so that's an advantage for the kicker. Hey, you can kick it 70 yards in that thin air,
so
figure
Broncos,
it out, do something else
kicker,
there.
How about Sean Payton being the Hall of Fame coach that he is versus
He's
Vrabel?
A Hall of Fame coach.
How about they have the advantage at coaching?
No, he's not a Hall of Fame coach.
They have the advantage of coaching.
He's not a Hall of Fame coach.
This is Florida Man football. We have to guide our fans in the last 2 picks, Johnny. And thanks to Happy Dad Seltzer, I'm sticking. You haven't changed my mind. I'm sticking with the Broncos going to the AFC Championship game.
For Sean Payton and the Broncos to win this game, they're going to need some type of miraculous type plays. And we've seen those things. We've seen Sean Payton go ahead and do an onside kick, the cojones. That's an onside kick in the Super Bowl, coming back from halftime, kickoff, halftime, get it. Those type of things need to happen. Lightning doesn't strike twice in the same spots, folks. It doesn't happen.
Any given Sunday, I'll say it.
So, of course, any given Sunday, but just looking at this team on paper, you cannot sit here and tell me that a backup quarterback who hasn't thrown the ball in about 2 years, they depleted, backfield with the running back being gone. They still have an elite defense. If Drake May does not turn the ball over, Patriots win. Even if he turns the ball over, they have a decent chance to win. So the odds are against the Broncos, looking at the odds, you still look at it and say the Patriots lose. That, my friends, is the definition of a Patriot hater. It's okay, Chris.
Be back next week when I'm right.
We'll see, guys. We hope you appreciate the show. We talked a lot about a little bit everything here.
We still got the
No. I'm getting there, bro. I'm just saying, we're getting to, of course, the Rams and Seahawks, Chris. It's okay. It's all right, bro.
It's all right. It's all right. Yeah.
Happy dad. You see what
happy dad.
You see what it does to Chris. But still, we hope you're enjoying the show so far. It's moving on to our final game here. The Seahawks, of course, are taking on the Rams here. The Seahawks for now the number one seed. They just dismantled the Niners, Chris. They're going against their Rams team. You can't count. Most people expect that Matthew Stafford will be the MVP. This is an outstanding offense versus a outstanding offense in the Seahawks. But for me, the Seahawks have a better defense. Does it matter here? Who do you got?
Well, at the end of the day, number one, let's look at it from both angles, right? The Seahawks, when you look at I kind of said this earlier about the AFC, that's another team that you didn't expect them to go to the Super Bowl, right? When you looked at Sam Darnold and him being signed by the Seahawks,
what
and you didn't expect this to be where it's at, but give them kudos. And by all accounts, they're a very good team. Take nothing away from them. They're a very good team. But I think, Johnny, that at the end of the day, it is what it is, folks. The Rams, the MVP, they're going to take this one. I don't want to overthink this one. I know that we're going to be in Lumen Field. I get all that. But at the end of the day, Johnny, I'm going to take the better coach. I'm going to take the seasoned quarterback. I'm going to take the healthier team. Charbonnet is out, like I mentioned earlier. And so for me, Johnny, at the end of the day, it's not that difficult for me. I see Matthew Stafford and I see the Rams going to the Super Bowl as they should. And I'm going to go back to the Niners a little bit because Niners overachieved, Bears overachieved. And now the last team in the NFC, team in the NFC to overachieve, the Seahawks are going to go down. Give me the Rams to win, and it's going to be a Rams and Broncos Super Bowl. Florida Man football. You heard it here first. Happy Dad Seltzer.
For the most horrible Super Bowl ever that's been existed, the Rams and Broncos. Nobody wants to see that. And
I do.
What we've seen in the NFL so far, they're going to go ahead and make sure that it's a little more entertaining football than that. So no, it's not going to happen here. The Rams, it's funny, like both games, we're going to actually have opposite opinions on this.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
While I see the Patriots coming out from the AFC, excuse me, the NFC here clearly. Listen, the Rams are a good team, a good story. Stafford's most likely going to walk away with the MVP, so good for him. That's working out for you. But clearly, the best team in the NFC right now are the Seahawks. I mean, the defense are lights out, not Legion of Boom, lights out, but still outstanding. But the offense is spectacular. You can sit here and take away the best receiver in football on the Seahawks. Yes, Puka Nacua is the second best. Congratulations. So you're sitting here like Matthew Stafford is going to go ahead and they're playing in Seattle. Seattle is a difficult place to play. You're talking about an LA team. LA indoor team, soft. And now you're going to go ahead, go to Seattle, deal with that weather, deal with whether it's the snow or the sleet or the whatever is going to go on. It's going to be cold. Advantage goes to Seattle. Advantage goes to the number one seed. It's the reason they got it. It's the reason they're playing at home. We all know how difficult it is to play in Lumen's Field. So no, the Seattle Seahawks are going to win this game. It's going to come down to a repeat. Like I said before, I was hoping for the repeat. The Patriots and Bears, 85 Super Bowl. Would have been much more entertaining Super Bowl, but it's still going to be just as entertaining with the Patriots and Seahawks in the Super Bowl, repeat of what we saw last time around. But this particular game here, clearly, the Seattle Seahawks are going to win this game.
I love it that before we get to the Super Bowl here at Florida Man Football, as usual, we're going to have to agree to disagree because once again, we both have different teams. Now, in this case, in the AFC, NFC, what we can both agree with before I close this show, Johnny Cinco, is that the Super Bowl will run through the NFC no matter what. This has been Florida Man football.
No.
And I'm just kidding.
Who's your who you?
That's
pick?
a couple.
So
that's a couple of weeks away.
Who's winning the Super Bowl right now? You made who's winning? Call right now.
I thought about it. I thought about bringing that question up before we close the show, Johnny. But I don't want to do that. And here's why. Here's why I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that because we both picked different teams to come out, right? Okay. So for that, for the fans and all that, it is going to be a couple of weeks out. You know, when it all settles, then we'll have that conversation. But more important than that, Johnny, after we talk about who's going to win, we're going to go into a big thing of what ifs. So if you are Florida Man Sports, you do love Florida Man football, you're going to enjoy this because we're going to talk a little bit of what if with the Jacksonville Jaguars, what if with the Bucks, and of course, what if with Miami. Because at the end of the day, folks, I think we can agree with this before we close the show, Johnny. At the end of the day, the fact that the Patriots and the Broncos have a potential to come out of the AFC, and the fact that the Seahawks have a potential to come out of the NFC. The Rams were good last year, so I'm not going to say. Yeah. It means that it was an open door for anyone. And that, I think, is a conversation that we need to have in the upcoming episodes as far as, like, you know, what could have been for Florida football. So, at any rate, before I close this out, Johnny Cinco, any last words?
No. Like you said, everyone had their shot, and some teams blew it.
Right.
And some teams did not. Final four.
This is Florida Man Football. We're out, y'all.
Salud.